I feel a bit like a news anchor sitting here with the desk between us. I'm like, and now on today's news, but it'll make sense in just a second. Welcome, hi, I'm Zoe, if you didn't already know that, and this is probably not the video that you guys have been waiting for if you have been following me on my channel. This is not part of the magical school. If you are interested in that, there will be something at the end. Just watch till the end of this video and you'll get all the information you need. But what this is, I don't know, just a little bit of fun. I was inspired to do something seasonal because I keep seeing so many amazing things online, on YouTube, on my feed on Instagram, while others are out there picking apples in beautiful orchards and baking pies and things. I wanted to do something, but I wanted to give it my own special kind of strange twist. You might have seen this already on my Instagram. If you haven't looked, please check my Instagram. Please feel free to follow me as well. But if you haven't seen this, it was actually on the new feature, the Reels, I think they're called. This is more of a how-to video. How did I make that pie so that you can make your own Robin Hood pie? It's a little bit more involved than you would think. It's not just about making the pie. So for this pie, I was mostly inspired by the Disney film, although I did look a little bit into some of the history behind Robin Hood and things. Any excuse to research, and I am in. But as I said, it was mostly just inspired by the Disney film. It was a bit of fun. In particular, I was inspired by this scene in which Maid Marian looks pretty stunning, and there are pies. So I rifled through my own wardrobe, tried to find something that would kind of fit what she was wearing, and I dressed up. And then I transformed my workspace into a tiny kitchen, which looked something a little bit like this. Once I had figured all this out, there was still something missing. A little bit of Robin Hood action, a little bit of hijinks and oodle-ollying around the town. And also I needed a pie filling, so I went out looking for some.
Robin Hood and Little John walking through the forest, laughing back and forth at what the other has to say. Reminiscing this and that and having such a good time. Oodle-olly, golly, what a day. Never ever thinking there was danger in the water they were drinking, they just guzzled it down. Never dreaming that a scheming sheriff and his posse was watching them and gathering around. Robin Hood and Little John running through the forest, jumping fences, dodging trees and trying to get away. Contemplating nothing but escape and finally making it. Oodle-olly, golly, what a day. Oodle-olly, golly, what a day.
Okay, so the first step is to just make the pastry itself from the recipe, and then we're going to put that in the fridge to chill while we make the pie filling. To make the pastry, you will need 4 cups of flour, half a teaspoon of salt, 4 tablespoons of sugar, 2½ sticks of butter, or about the equivalent of 1¼ cups, 3¼ cups of ice water, ice cold. For the filling of the pie, you will need a bunch of apples. I used about 8. 3/4 of a cup of brown sugar, half a cup of flour, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, a tiny dash of nutmeg, 3 tablespoons of butter, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, a lemon, a dash of salt, 1/8 of a cup of white sugar, and a tablespoon of maple syrup. Well, now it's time to make our filling for the pie, and before I peel the apples, which I want to leave till towards the very end so that they don't brown too much, I'm going to make this flour sugar mixture that I'm going to sprinkle in between the layers, so pretty easy. Smells pretty damn good. You're just gonna mix that up and have that ready to put on top of the apples in layers. And I'm gonna also make another thing to put in layers as well. So it'll be this plus another paste. Screw the pie. Just eat this. Just make this, eat that. Now we get to do the fun part. I get to peel these apples. While we're peeling the apples, I have a bit of a story time for you. So let me put this in the fridge so that it doesn't get too melted because it's pretty warm in here. I'm actually kind of excited about this part because I have a bit of a story for you, but I want to see if I can still do this. I have 2 different peeling options here. I've got, handy dandy peeler, and I also have a knife to freak people out. Because I got really good at peeling apples with a knife at one point, and I know that this is probably asking for disaster, doing something super dangerous, but let's see if I'm still good at it. That makes me really nervous, actually. No, it's easy. It's fine. We're gonna be fine. So let's peel this apple and have a little chat. I've got quite a few of them here. Ooh, smells really good. So the reason that I got really good at peeling apples with a knife like this is a funny story. My husband and I, quite a few years ago, probably about 4 years ago now, were really interested in volunteering on farms in different places that kind of had like ecological places with farming type activities, or things where we could learn something new, I guess you could say. I was at the time trying to be like more, I think I was trying to push myself to be someone I'm really not, honestly, because I was like interested in going to places that had very, very primitive lifestyle type situations, really. Sorry, I'm just like trying to think about this. How do I say it? I don't want to like offend anyone. I think that everyone's choices in life are great and valid, however you choose to live. But I did find out that I actually do really appreciate certain things. Here, I really appreciate certain things like having a shower. Oh my gosh, I appreciate showers so much now. I used to hate that stuff. When I was a kid, I was like, no, I don't want to shower at all, which is kind of funny. But once you go without showering for quite some time when you're older and you're living in a van, you really do appreciate showers. And other things like electricity. So we ended up volunteering at a bunch of random places that like didn't have electricity or plumbing, and people were living in these alternative ways. And one of the places that we volunteered at, getting back to the story, is a little place in Norway. It was bad. It was really an interesting time. Let's just say that. There's too much to that story to tell right now, but part of it was that the owner, there were two owners, a man and a woman, and they were running this farm in a really strange kind of way for various reasons. And one of the things that they wanted us to do while we were there was to cut, sorry, I'm like Freudian slip, not cut, peel probably, I don't know how many, if I was to guess how many apples I peeled that winter, thousands upon thousands of apples, I would say, over the course of like 3 weeks. We were supposed to be there for about a month. Thank God we were not. We were there for 3 weeks. We escaped, literally, had to escape from this place. But while I was there, I did peel many apples and dehydrated them in a dehydrator, and also by hanging them. I learned how to peel them with the knife because there wasn't an actual peeler available, and it was like day in, day out, 8 hours of peeling apples, so you get pretty good at it by that point. And gosh, why is this thing keeps ringing, right? I don't know if you can hear that. Maybe if I put that thing, it'll like dampen the sound. Right. Yeah, day in, day out, 8 hours a day, peeling apples. You get pretty good at something when you do it like that for 3 weeks. On top of like a few other activities. Ollie was actually doing other stuff, and it was me and a French woman called Francine, and she was so sweet. I miss Francine. She was really fun. We escaped with her in the end because Francine did not want to stay either, and we were very lucky because she had a car. She had driven there from France. Francine from France, and she drove us away, and we ended up staying somewhere 8 hours away, which was the only place we could afford at the time, all of us being really broke. We're more like just travelers, you know, like we didn't have a lot of money to spend. So yeah, there's so much more I could say, like the point where I had learned how to hang them and dehydrate them in the cabin. We were staying in this tiny little, so cute wooden cabin that was really old actually. I think it was like, this guy has a wormhole thing. It was such a cute little cabin. It was probably like 200 years old, I think, because that farm had been in their family for a long time. So I had learned how to dehydrate the apples by stringing them up. So what you would do is you would cut them, you peel them, cut them, slice them this way, you know, with the core out, and then you could hang them on little strings. And because the cabin was heated by a fire, it worked really well. Like the cabin was cozy and warm and stuff, and the fire would kind of dry everything out. And yeah, it was cute. But where was I going with that? I think I was gonna say the woman who was very scary, who lived there, left us alone most of the time because she didn't want to work beside us because we kept talking and stuff, and she didn't like that, me and Francine talking. So she sent us off to the cabin to work. But then this one day, after, you know, maybe the 5th round of dehydrating these strung up apples, she got really mad at us because, oh gosh, it's too long of a story. Basically, she got mad at us for doing something that she didn't want us to do, and so she came into the cabin and ripped down every one of the like cut them basically, cut all of the strings that I had strung up very carefully without telling me. And we got back home after visiting somebody and found it like that, and we were like terrified at this point. Like, I had nightmares of this lady coming and, I don't know, being in our window in the middle of the night and stuff, and I think that some of that might have been true, like waking up and seeing her, because she would walk around the property at night. Like, it was terrifying stuff. It was really weird. And when she did that, I was like, oh shit, she's really mad. So, very weird times it reminds me of. So these apples, like, because I got them from trees around the neighborhood, they are not the kind of apples you're gonna find at the supermarket, you know? They're like, they have little holes and things, and what I'm doing is I'm literally just cutting those parts out. It's totally fine. They're still edible. They're still good. I think we're too used to having pristine and perfect things these days because of the selection process that produce goes through. We're not used to seeing misshapen or strange looking stuff. So these apples are just very eccentric. They're great. They smell amazing. Okay, I'm gonna peel all of these and then we'll meet back together once that's done. And we've got all our ingredients ready. We've got the flour sugar mixture and this buttery maple syrupy paste. Both of those go in between the layers, and I have my apples, which haven't browned too much. I hope you can see. They're looking nice, and I cut them into pretty thin slices, and I'm gonna try and arrange them in the pie. I don't know if this is overly ambitious or not. We'll see. You love me at once, the way you did once upon a dream. Now that we've got that done, I'm just in love with it. Okay, now that we've got this done, I'm gonna put this again, I'm gonna reuse some of that plastic wrap and put this back in the fridge, and we're going to get ready to make the decorative piece on top, which is like probably what you all came here for, who knows? Maybe you just came here to hear me ramble, but if you've come this far, you've made it. We're gonna do the decorative piece. So let's put this in the fridge and I'll start working on that. Okay, so I got my other sheet of pastry from the fridge. This one is going to be the top part of the pie. I'm still considering what design I'm gonna do. I actually have, hold on. I have sketched out some things here, hopefully you can see that, but I'm really not sure what I'm actually gonna go for in the end. I kind of thought of like a loose thing with leaves, and then I thought of this one where it's like completely covered, but like an apple would have the star shape cut out, which is super cute. I'm still thinking, do I want to do this or do I want to do this kind of lattice, I don't know how you say it, pattern that's on here? Thinking. I mean, whichever way I do, if you guys want to steal any ideas, please go ahead. You know, maybe I will go with this kind of covered with the leaves and the flowers, just because, hopefully you can actually see that, just because I feel like this is much more old style fairy tale, do I think? Yeah, and I haven't seen it done. Let's do that, just for fun. A dream is a wish your heart makes. I'm sorry, I keep singing Disney because something about baking a pie reminds me of everything Disney. Is it not just like the most Disney thing? I think it's like, I've watched Snow White so many times. Guys, that's probably my favorite Disney movie, and I love the evil queen. I love like the fairy tale elements. It's just the perfect translation of a fairy tale into animation, in my opinion. And the part where she bakes the pie is iconic. It's so gorgeous. The little birds. If I could bring birds in, I would do it right now. Okay, so this is like a perfect looking leaf right here, waiting to be born. I don't know if this is going to be enough leaves. I'm going to continue. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Let me have a look at my apple leaves that I actually have right here. They're a little bit scrunched. It looks like the veins, I'm trying to find out. Yeah, it looks like the veins are right beside each other. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go right, now that I've taken a million pictures and things, I'm gonna put this in the fridge before it starts to kind of go all floppy and stuff. It's still looking really nice. And I'm gonna bake it tomorrow actually, because tonight is getting a little bit late and I'm gonna go on a date with my husband, so see you tomorrow. Okay, so it's officially the next day, day 2, and normally it wouldn't take me this long to make a pie like this. It would take probably about a morning or an afternoon, but it doesn't hurt to put it in the fridge overnight, honestly, because, or even in the freezer overnight, because what you want is you want to take it out so it's really, really cold, as cold as possible before you put it in a hot oven, because that's going to help keep everything, keep the dimension on all the leaves and different things. And I also made here a little pie protector, kind of goes on top of the pie like that, and that should help stop the crust. I don't know if you've ever seen that, but where the crust will like get really brown here and not here, and so that should keep things a little more even from burning on the edges and not on the, you know, on the inside. So I've got my oven on 425 Fahrenheit, and I'm gonna put it in there for about 10 minutes, and I'm gonna turn it down to about 350 and like watch it cook. I don't know how long this is gonna cook because this is like a new pie dish for me, and also it's really loaded. We'll see how long. I just watch it and kind of get a feel for it. Might take a while because it is really cold, as I said. Let's do it. It's done! Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. It actually worked out. It's a little more brown on this side. I think I should have been rotating it, but you know what? That's okay. I'm cool with that because it looks exactly how I imagined. I really wanted it to look kind of medieval inspired, or at least my idea of medieval in reference to Robin Hood, both the Disney one and also like the storybook and stuff. It just makes me think of something like from a medieval storybook with the really thick pastry and the cute little details and stuff. But all that's left to do is eat it, and if this is a real Robin Hood story, then of course I have to give this to the poor, right? But the only poor person that I can think of right now is my poor husband, who has been waiting for me to finish this the whole weekend. So I'm gonna go make a picnic for both of us, and we're gonna have this as the centerpiece. Nothing left to do except eat it.
Good.
Yeah? Is it really good?
Pretty good. I didn't know you could read.
I didn't know you could read.
How would you do anything in school if you couldn't read?
Don't you keep failing? Those 2 Death Eaters that take over, what are their names?
The Caros?
Caros, that's right. Well, it turned out to be pretty fun in the end making this pie. I hope you enjoyed it. The pie itself is actually really good, if you were wondering. I know I didn't really say that. It was, honestly, probably a little better when it was warm, but meh, who cares? I'm still gonna eat it out of the dish anyway. Doesn't matter to me. If you can't eat your pie straight out of the dish, what is the point of making one? I don't know. there is no point. That's oat milk, by the way. It's like the best thing on the face of the earth, I swear. And I am such a lazy beep because I should make my own, but I don't, even though I do spend 2 days making a pie. I have still yet to make my own oat milk. I really love doing project videos like this, where I get to make something and I get to share it with you guys and I get to learn along the way as well, and I put my all into it, and it has me like really excited for when I finally actually do start the magical school, which I know I keep talking about. If you have no idea what that is, because you know this is the first video you're watching of mine, well, I have something in the works, and if you are one of those people who has been asking about the magical school, I am so sorry. It turns out that there's a lot more work than I thought that needs to go into some of the things that I have planned, and these things I am so stoked about. A lot of it is for you guys, but like I said, there's so much more to what I have planned than I thought. As with everything I do, I think I underestimate every task I ever set out to do. So this one definitely stumped me for a bit, and I'm so sorry. I do feel a little bit embarrassed that I went out and publicly declared like, I am beginning and I am doing this thing, and then didn't. But if there's any recompense, I hope you enjoyed this video. I think I am planning to make more, and also I hope I can offer you a little bloopers reel of like silly things that I did. I love you guys. Thank you so much for all your supportive comments. They always mean the world to me. I really appreciate you. And until next time, roll the tape. No. Start again. How do you introduce a video? I don't know. Especially when it's already been happening. Change of scene.
Want me to move the truck out of there?
Oh, no, it's fine. You're gonna say that wrong. Wardrobe malfunctions. Why?
I don't even know any Harry Potter quirks.
How does it look? It's not bad?
Yep, it's good.
I don't know what Maid Marian does. When was the last time you watched it?
Yesterday.
Did she sing?
Yep.
Dee 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 dee. Oh.